Welcome back. This morning we're breaking down the mayoral special election. Geez, there's 9 days left, Susana.
Yes. Huh? Yeah, and our political analyst,
Yep.
John Dadian, joining us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, we had Alvarez on yesterday. We also had Kevin Faulconer, and this morning we had Mike Aguirre coming on to talk about their campaign. With you, we want to kind of break down each candidate, where they're at right now, where you see them, and do you think any one of them will get more than 50% of the votes to avoid a runoff election?
Some people are speculating that it could go up 50%. I just don't see it because, again, there's still some undecided out there. It is tightening up, which is what's to be expected, and you probably will somebody finish first by maybe five points, maybe a little bit more, and then you might have a bunch for the second and third slot.
It started out rather pleasant, the campaigns, but then it definitely turned negative here over the last couple of weeks.
It always does.
Not a surprise,
Not
right?
a surprise. That's basically the standard formula.
Yeah, not a surprise. You have, and sort of Nathan Fletcher in the middle taking it from both sides, which was probably expected.
The conventional wisdom is, whether or not I agree with it, is a lot of people of the other campaigns see that if Nathan Fletcher gets in, with the one-on-one race in the general, he has a good shot at winning. So there are several independent expenditures are trying to knock him out in the primary.
Back to what Susana requested. Let's talk about Kevin Faulconer.
Sure.
What are his strengths and maybe what are his weaknesses in this election, in this race?
His biggest strength as an elected official is supposed to do is running on his record. He's been on the city council going on the end of his second term. He's done a great job. He's really showed well through the Filner debacle, especially what really showed through, which is one of his key campaign strategies, is his bipartisanship and nonpartisan. He got together with Democrat Todd Gloria and they ran the city basically, and they made sure we got through this. So that's what he's emphasizing. You know, his famous phrase is, "There's no Republican or Democrat way to fill a pothole." He's hoping that resonates. All campaigns are emphasizing character because of the Filner incident.
Definitely. What about David Alvarez? Do you think he's done a good job to get his name out there? Because after all, a lot of it is about name recognition.
And it's an uphill battle for him because, again, he's in his first term. He represents a district, the south part of the city that's not known for its high voter turnout. But what he's got as far as strengths is, first of all, is grassroots. A lot of supporters, a lot of people who might not be able to donate but want him to be mayor, and they're getting out and giving the time. And, of course, he's done extremely well in the endorsements of groups that do have resources to get his message out. As you've heard me say many times, you need two things in this type of campaign. You need to have a good message, and all three of them do, possibly all four of them do, but you need to be able to have the resource to get your message out. Because of the independent expenditures, that's how his message is getting out.
John, I was really sort of confused why the Democratic Party selected Mr. Alvarez over Mr. Fletcher. Do we know what went on behind closed doors? I mean, the Republican behind the closed doors, the Republican Party, that has been well documented what went on in their selection process. But the Democratic Party, we don't really know why they chose who they chose to support. Do we know? I mean, there was a little bit of a battle there with Lorena Gonzalez and one of the union representatives, but that's all we really know.
Well, I don't know for a fact, so I don't want to speculate. However, I will point out a couple facts. Nathan Fletcher did get out early as a Democrat, and everybody assumed and expected that he would get not only all the labor, but the Democratic Party, et cetera. But keep in mind, once he declared, there were several big names in the Democratic Party who weren't happy with that candidacy, and they went looking for a candidate. David Alvarez, lifelong Democrat, labor loves him, et cetera. And so when they basically recruited him, that's when the battle was on for it to be the Democratic nominee. And he's the theme of Alvarez supporters is that he's the real Democrat.
Yeah, but I thought the name of the game was to, and no offense to Mr. Alvarez, but the name of the game was to win, right? And it seems like Nathan Fletcher is the guy that has the higher numbers at this point.
Again, at this point, the reason we're here today is because we're going in the final stretch of the election. One of the oldest rules in business or politics: don't peak too early, don't peak too late. We still got another 10 days. But when you say that Fletcher has a higher numbers, keep in mind, because of the type of system we have, the runoff type system, et cetera, everybody assumes, which I think is absolutely accurate, that Kevin Faulconer is going to get in the runoff as a Republican.
Right.
So that means
he will be up against Fletcher, is what everybody's saying.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying he will
of people are saying.
Well, but getting back to Jeff's question, he will be up against one of the Democrats. So to get to your response, even if Fletcher is a little bit ahead in the polls right now, if one of those Democrats, which one will, get into the runoff, then the Democratic Party will coalesce. Keep in mind, the race right now is not for mayor. The race in 10 days is not for mayor. The race is to stay alive if it goes into a runoff.
Mr. Aguirre was very impressive this morning, was he not?
Definitely.
Michael has, I've known the man for about 20 years since I've been in San Diego, both before he was in office, after office. Clearly today with your interview is an example. He's learned a lot, in my opinion. He's much more polished. He answered your questions directly.
Redeemed his name in a way?
I would not go that far.
It was a question. What do you think?
No, the reason I say that, to be fair, the reason I say that is I think the polls reflect that. He hopes to redeem himself, and he's coming across with a good message. As I said, you need a good message. However, it has not been that long since he was turned out of office, and a lot of people remember that. And a lot of people after the Filner thing, because of character, they want a fresh start. Two of the top leading candidates are relatively young. Mike Aguirre pointed that out, but let me tell you something. A lot of people like that. A lot of people see that as an attribute.
Fresh. They need
so,
a fresh face,
you
fresh
betcha.
character.
And by the way, happy birthday and thank you for your service.
Thank you very much.
Definitely.
Marine Corps birthday.
238 years. You know something? After I'm done with you, I think I might go out and celebrate a little bit.
I think you should. I think you should. Well deserved. Thank you for being with us this morning.
Very good.
Thanks, John.